happening, guys? Welcome back again. Another video, at least continuing on from where we were the last time anyway. Not really much to report on. This is kind of how we're looking at the moment. I managed to get the bottom ones out there, which is a huge bonus. Started on taking the underlay out from there and started on the top and all the way along. I was having serious debates on taking this door off, and from looking at it, actually looks a wee bit more, more promising than I had originally anticipated. There's a couple of torque bolts down there, a couple of bolts in there. The only one that I'm not too sure about is the one right in there. So other than that, it's kind of looking alright. Just take half the door off unless this doesn't hold up everything. Nope, that's just a guide. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that top one off. But other than that, we're looking pretty promising. The surprise is sat in front of me, but next video this will get released and we'll get to working on the small, very minor things I have to do for that. But for today, we're gonna be focusing on this. Halfway there, just pretty much starting again, but it's early. It's about 10 o'clock, I think, so I've got all the time in the day. With that being said, I normally say that and it's much later on in the day, but we're gonna get started. We're gonna get the tunes going, and by the time that I snap my fingers, hopefully we should have at least the worst part done. I did get a couple of extra tools to do this job, because it's going to be a hassle and a half, and I actually bought this because one track rod end is needing done on the van, one track rod end is needing done on the Corsa now, which obviously I purchased, so just waiting on that one coming in. But also I've got the one for the Peugeot anyway, but I want to do one thing at a time on the Peugeot, so we're going to get this done first. So yeah, that's how we're looking at the moment. That's how we're going to go, and it's going to be a great time. For some reason, I don't know why, I didn't bother primering anything underneath the car that I'd grinded, which was a really stupid move on my behalf. So I'm going to address that and start grinding away. And, well, I mean, all the surface rust just kind of came back through. Some of it anyway, not all of it. But I'm just going to get wire brushing all that again and get that completely cleaned up, primer it, and we're laughing. And then we're going to move on to the back bit. So, looking forward to a fun day. Cool wee baggy. I think this will help me in the long run when it comes to doing this job and getting these bits out. Nice and easy in comparison to what I was having to deal with just using a crowbar. Just gonna get into it, get on it, and hope that the sliding door isn't too much of a hassle. I have doubts, but we're gonna get to it. By the time I click my fingers, hopefully, we should have that door off and this sill partly off from the back. Maybe not from the front, but we'll work on it. Anyway. So we're here, and here is looking a lot more promising than back there, because this is kind of how we're looking at the moment now. I did manage to get the door off-ish. So I've taken little wire brushes with the drill and started cleaning up all along the bottom here. Started kind of primering it. It was more just the not getting any more rust onto it. Started down here. Eventually realized that I was actually a lot closer to the finish than I had anticipated, to the point that I'd stopped doing this and then started carrying on with the rest of the sill. So, I mean, we're looking pretty promising in comparison to what it was before. I started kind of going underneath here and getting all ins and outs and that, but it didn't really get much to the front. It was more the back than anything else I was really focused on. Not that it's much improvement, but the thing is that I'm really hoping that I can it's all pretty solid enough anyway, give or take. But it should be enough to keep it going for the next 5-10 years or something like that, which I would imagine will be around about the lifetime of this van anyway. So, the only minor to having everything folded up underneath here is the fact that I really had to bend everything back out. So I'll have to put more effort into making it look exactly the way it came from the factory, and try and get all the bends out and try and get everything lined up for at least the new sill that should be coming by next week, hopefully. I say that, a lot of things don't go the way that I hope that they do. Like my neighbour with the concrete, never showed up. So, hey. With this all looking a hell of a lot better for itself, I'm just kind of at that point where I just need to straighten this all back out, clean all this up, and no more rust by the end of it. Take off all the under seal down here, and yeah. I am just to the point where I just need to clean everything up on this van, have it looking perfect for when the sill actually arrives. Not much else to say about it really. Clean it up as much as I can, get it primered, start looking for the paint. But other than that, not much to report on. Except the one thing I genuinely am waiting for now is the sill. Because Adam, I'm in awe really. But last night Adam had decided that he was going to come up to go and pick up his kids that he's got over the weekend, and he decided to leave me a little present. This essentially means that I can get all the work done on the van that I need to get done, all the sills, anything extra that I find along the way, I'll actually be able to do something about it, because I've got previous experience with one of these. Maybe not this particular welder, but I do have experience with MIG welding, and it's been a hot minute, but I think after I pick up a torch, get the settings right, I'll be straight back into it. So incredibly excited about that. And Adam, I'd already said to Adam how hellish this week was for me, and he really did come through with, he just came through, and I couldn't be more thankful for the guy, honestly. Couldn't be happier about that. It means that I can do little jobs like this all on my own, which is great. I don't have to pay an extra penny unless I need the equipment for it. It's already got welding wire, and I've already got a gas tank for it from the one previously, which is literally just behind it. I'll need to go up to my parents' house at some point to go and get my gas and the rest of my materials, tools for doing my welding jobs. So another trip up north, but this time I'll know it'll be worth it, because I will 100% make sure that people are home today, this time. So yeah. With the fact that we have a new welder, it means that I'll be able to take the majority of the scrap from the Peugeot, and I'll be able to start practice. I've got something jaggedy in my back, and I know it's a bit of metal, and I know it's stuck in my way. Anyway, it's like having a wasp in your boiler suit. You're like, meh. Anyway, with that being here, it means that all I have to do is just wait for the sill. Sill, as I might have said before, took way longer than it should have to find a new sill. So hopefully have that by next week at some point. I know it's on its way. That's all I know. So the fact that it's on its way is enough for me. We're gonna continue cleaning up everything on the van, finishing up primering and getting everything sorted for that. I can see the oil leak now is starting to appear a lot more or obvious, shall we say. Let's see. Not much evidence to say that there's anything leaking from anywhere else, unless it's the gasket. I thought it was going to be the gasket, but it doesn't look like it. It genuinely just, it looks like I've got a hole in my sump. That's a bit bizarre though, but it doesn't look like anything's been leaking down from anywhere else. So I genuinely just need a sump and take all the bolts out, and that's it. So one culprit solved anyway, I guess. I never thought it would have been just a sump, but hey, we're here now. As for the other leak, which is back here, I think that is just, I'm gonna have a field day with that one. Safe to say. That's gonna take a lot more than just taking the sump out, just to Yep. Might be a bigger job than I hope. That's the whole power steering system kind of out situation. So, anyway. I'll definitely have to have a double check for the power steering, but with the sump, the fact that I know that it is just a sump, I'm going to carry on with the Peugeot, get everything cleaned up, get every single bit of rust that I can see off, straight, narrow, everything else. We'll see how we go. And we're back. And in that space of time, my grinder finally decided to pack up. So unfortunately, I didn't have the best sanding abilities, all because of this little wire. As it turns out, I thought I was going to get it fixed today. I can't, because I don't have my soldering iron, which is in my parents'. So unfortunately, I was just kind of left with just the drill. And I think it's safe to say I got the majority of it cleaned up. Granted, there was a lot of overspray on this, like one particular bit here, but I do actually plan on sanding that back just to get that crap off and then repaint it maybe. But the rest of it is looking awfully good. Maybe not the top bit up here, but the rest of it all the way around is looking a hell of a lot more promising. And this will just stop it from essentially getting any rustier, depending on how long I'm going to be away from this job for. But as I've said before, that's just a case of there are so many little metal bits. The amount of little bits of metal that thing decided that I wanted to shoot up was ridiculous, and now I just feel like I'm getting stung everywhere. Anyway, underneath here, looking all good, looking all a hell of a lot better after getting primered than that. To be honest, I should have bought some Steelit, so it would have meant that I would have been able to primer it and be able to weld over it, but alas, that's not the case. It doesn't really matter, because the way that I've drilled it out, I'm going to need to sand them back to fill back in, so it is what it is. But the thing about it is the fact that that is the worst part of it done, over with. I just need to go and get a couple more wire brushes, because I don't think that's really going to do me any good. Get a pack of those, start cleaning everything else up that I couldn't get to today, start taking the primer back from the weldy bits, and then I'm pretty much good to go there. But I'm gonna call it a day here. With the weather being as good as it has been, or as good as it's gonna be, it's safe to say I'll be able to actually be here as of next week. Weather conditions, it was snowing on Monday. It was snowing on Tuesday, and then it was just a hellish week to be down here, so I decided that I would just not, which probably wasn't a good idea, all things considered. Everything's got a time crunch, and this van has got a time crunch. So for the rest of the day, I'm just going to get everything cleaned up, because I like to make a huge ass mess of myself. Pretty much call it a day here. But yeah, van's looking a lot more promising, 50% of the job done. Can't really complain with a good time. I'll be going and getting those wire brushes. I know that I'll hopefully be looking for a couple more tools. That metal wire brush bits are just all over inside me, and I don't like it. Actually think about getting some spot weld drill bits, because I know that apparently you can actually get those, and it would have saved me a whole lot of hassle in comparison to doing the drilling that I've just done. Everything's a learning curve. It's the first time doing it. I know what I'm doing relatively, but there's a first for everything, and this is my first, so long as I get it knocked out of the park, I'm gonna be happy. But yeah, for the time being, I'm gonna leave it here, and I shall see you guys next time. I'll speak to you guys later on.